Everything is connected. Every action is like the butterfly effect. One thing here and then the other thing goes there. So everything is interconnected. So you have to be very mindful of your own actions you make.
She says the individual choices matter when it comes to addressing the plastic crisis. Hello everyone. Today we have with us Ms. Kenyum Bagra. She has done her BTech in Civil Engineering and then MTech in Environmental Engineering from NIT Hamirpur, Himachal Pradesh. And now she's pursuing her PhD in Environmental Engineering from IIT Roorkee. Hello ma'am, we are glad to have you with us today. You are our first speaker from Arunachal Pradesh series.
Hi, Maanvi, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you to Mitti Ke Rang for inviting me to this talk and giving me this opportunity to talk about whatever I care for. And also, congratulations for having this series on Northeast region of India, because I really appreciate it, because most of the people don't know much about Northeast India, and whatever you're doing is something really great.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So let me begin with my question series. So I see that you have done your graduation in civil engineering. What motivated you to do your master's and then PhD in environmental engineering?
Well, I think it's a really nice question, by the way. But if you really think about it, what motivates us is it begins from your childhood itself, right? So you are a child in your school. There are few teachers who motivate you. There are few friends who you come across. There are many people you come across. So in our school, we were always taught to turn the lights off, turn the tap off. We used to get scoldings, and coming from a place, beautiful place, Arunachal, where nature is everywhere, you start valuing it more and more. And when I started my high school in Visakhapatnam, I saw that the environment was really different. And then I went to Chennai to do my BTech there, and I saw that the environment was really degraded. The drains are dirty, and when I came back home, I realized that even our place was degrading, and I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to be a part of the solution. So when I had to choose to do my master's, I thought, what more reason do I need to go for environmental engineering?
Very well said, ma'am. So next question is, what are your views on solid waste generated in India?
See, first I'm gonna begin with explaining what solid waste is. Basically, in layman term, solid waste is something that is very unwanted, unused material that you discard. Right, every household discards it, and it includes biodegradable waste that comes from the kitchen, and then non-biodegradable waste that is metal, plastic, and hazardous wastes, which are sanitary pads and used sanitary pads and diapers and medical waste and toxic chemical waste. And also electronic waste, which everybody usually don't think about when we talk about solid waste generation. So what happens is when we talk about solid waste generation, we think that India produces so much, right? But India doesn't produce too much compared to other developed countries. India is a developing countries, and when you look at in a perspective of solid waste generation, developed countries generate more waste than developing countries. And if you see the content in the solid waste that we generate almost like 50 to 70% of organic waste. And it's not the case in developed countries. Developed countries have more like plastics, more not recyclable, non-recyclable materials. They don't have much organic waste. So it is very different in India. The issue is, it might be solid waste generation as well, but the main issue is the management system in India. As per the rules solid waste management rules in 2016, the rules have that you have to segregate your waste at household level. Like, gila kachra yahan pe jata hai, sukha kachra yahan pe jata hai. Everybody knows that, right? But it's not being practiced. It is in the rules and it's everywhere. Everybody knows that, but nobody practices that. And it begins from there, the crisis. And when you talk about source segregation. This is source segregation when you divide, right? In other countries, there are many ways to, what do you call it? Many bins you would keep for classes separately, for cardboards and papers separately, for electronic waste separately, and for organic waste separately. When I was in Hong Kong, I even saw a kid who was so, I think maybe just 5 or 6 years old. He just emptied the juice box he had into the sink and then threw it into the non-recyclable. He knows that the Tetra Pak. Okay. So the kid took the juice box, emptied the juice box, and put it in the non-recyclable dustbin because he knew that the Tetra Pak is not recyclable. And that is the level of awareness they give in other countries. And in our place, we don't know that. And awareness plays an important part in solid waste management. And it also, there are three basic rules in solid waste management. There is reduce, then reuse and recycle. So reduction is where public can participate, where we can reduce our waste as much as possible. But it is not happening in this fast-growing economy. And there is this, when you calculate the solid waste generated, the first thing everybody would say is that with growing economy, there is a rise of waste because consumption increases and the product life decreases. Like for fast fashion, the clothes doesn't last long and then you throw it. It's like a use and throw thing. So how we approach this should be very different, and public participation is very important in that. And source segregation is also very important because you see, when you mix your wet waste with dry waste, you cannot recycle the cardboard that was wet after dal or sabzi gets mixed with the paper. It is very hard to recycle it. So it needs to go there. Everything is that there is a solution. All we have to do is follow it and practice it. And also about the e-waste management in India, there is not much, there are many private sectors, they take up recycling materials, right? And recycling e-waste is a very big issue. It takes more energy to recycle your electronic waste. And people these days, they just have to buy a new phone, the new model they have, the new model of laptop they find. And this is where we come in. We generate more and more waste, and we just think that this is their problem, the problem the government is going to take care of. And where does it go? It goes to the landfill. No, not mostly, 50% of them. I have done my research in rivers in Dehradun. I'm currently doing my research for antibiotic resistance. But I saw that there are so many plastic in the river. It chokes the river. It doesn't flow well. The fishes are degrading. Everything, it's just a mess. And I don't want that to happen to any other river. River Yamuna is dead, right? So solid waste plays an important part in everywhere. It plays everywhere. And we need to be very mindful of producing waste. We produce waste a lot, and we have to be careful of that.
Yes, ma'am, you very rightly said that we are taught reduce, reuse, recycle, but how often do we actually reduce the waste that we generate? Yes, so ma'am, my next question is, what alternatives do you use to reduce the solid waste?
Well, I also follow, there was this amazing talk by Bea Johnson, TED Talk, where she was talking about 5 rules, 5 R's, where you rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. And I added another R on my own, for my own life, where I replace as well. So the first thing is rethink, like, do you really need it? Like, do I really need it? Or am I buying it? I'm being impulsive in buying that because I'm being emotional. I'm not in the right place. I'm trying to make myself feel better about something. And then I refuse things, like maybe I want to drink this bottle of soda, but I know that I don't want to, but I'm really craving for it, but I try to refuse it as much as possible. And then I reduce anything that I can. Suppose, like, I sometimes like eating chips a lot. Sometimes I get the cravings, but I try to minimize it as much as possible. And when I try to reuse things, it's like, you know, when I have something that is broken, I just don't throw it away. I try to make maximum use out of it in something else. And recycling is the same thing. I try to recycle my metal tin and, you know, the glass bottles. I try to give it to some recycle, maybe some company, or to kabadiwala, all those who comes. And replacing for me is replacing materials with experiences, where if I am feeling really low, instead of buying any material to make myself feel better, I try to buy experiences, or, invest on hobbies or something. So most of the times I try to, there are many switches I did, and I try to just phase out single-use plastic in my life. So in the beginning, I started with using bamboo toothbrush, making my own toothpaste with baking soda and coconut. I was using coconut oil for my skin, like face and body skin. And I used to use, I started using menstrual cup. There was a lot of trial and error, but even though I failed and there was many failures I faced, now that I am more experienced, because I had gone through this, I can tell my friends and they don't have to go through the same thing again, so it's worth it. And also that whenever I'm traveling, I carry my own spoon, I carry my own traveling mugs, I carry with myself my water bottle, my favorite companion, so that I can always fill myself with H2O. And also I carry a shopping bag, so that whenever I'm buying something, I try to not use the single-use plastic that the carry bag they give. And there is one fun fact: when you think that there is a cloth bag you get, like, you know, in the markets, there are cloth bags that is easily available. They said, "Ye to plastic nahi hai, madam." But that is not cloth bag. When you see that it has been pressed with heat and it blends together, clothes don't melt when you heat them, they just burn. So that is greenwashing, and we have to be very aware of it. People greenwash every time, saying that this is eco-friendly product, this is not plastic. But as a consumer, we have to be very aware, because there are everyone who are going to fool you. And one more thing that one choice that I made in my life was to, prefer secondhand clothing. I know many people are very hesitant about secondhand clothing, but like I asked my sister, like, if you don't want this cloth, can you give it to me? Or maybe there is someone who doesn't want it, I'd be willing to buy it from you, or, anything that they can spare. And if I ever need something very important, like maybe I had to go to the conference and I needed new clothes. I had all old clothes. So I bought good quality clothes that would last me longer, so that I don't have to buy over and over again, which would last me like, what, 5 years or 6 years, right? And also regarding the clothes, when I had to attend my friend's wedding, I was bummed to know that I had to buy so many clothes, like for every event, right? Indian wedding, you have to buy what? Lehenga for haldi, for sangeet, and for the main wedding.
Cocktail night.
Yeah, so what I did was I borrowed sandals from my junior. I took yellow salwar from my friend, and also a black kurta for Sangeet. And I bought my friend's mother's sari, and I had to make my own blouse that I couldn't, and petticoat, I couldn't avoid that, but I hope I can use it in future. And for jewelry, I was just like, I have some silverware, I use that, and I just bought one bangle, metal bangle. I hope I would use that in future as well. There are many other friends who are yet to get married, so let's hope I'm gonna use it. And there are also other many changes, small changes, like ink pens, that I don't have to buy ball pens now. There are many things. If the audiences want to know, there are YouTube bloggers who are working on it, minimalist lifestyle, zero waste lifestyle, they say. So it's just that you can adopt whatever chooses you, and you can do whatever you can to reduce your consumption and producing less plastic waste.
Ma'am, I really like the idea which you gave, that to replace it with experience. That really was thought-provoking for us. And again, Another one was that greenwashing. We rarely as a consumer know what greenwashing is and what exactly that those are not clothes, but they are again greenwashed things. So it was really nice to know some fun facts, as you said. So coming up to my next question, what is Triple F? While reading your bio, I got to know that you are associated with Triple F. So I would like to know that what is Triple F and why do not attach yourself to any specific NGO? Is there any specific reason?
If I tell, let me first begin by telling you what FFF is. FFF is just an international movement, Fridays for Future, which you know Greta Thunberg started, right? So FFF is also in India, and these are just a bunch of students who cares a lot, and they wanted to do something, raise their voice, and they felt like, a single child seems very helpless, and when they come together, the mass seems greater and more powerful. So they came, and I joined it because one of my friends hooked me up with them, and then I started working with FFF Arunachal. Even FFF India has different branches in every state. They work for different issues, and they are usually demanding the government to switch from non-renewable source of energy to renewable source of energy, and also there are other climate actions they want the leaders to take, right? But they are also working on other issues. And recently they have been working on the EIA draft 2020 that was proposed. So the campaign, and when I came to know about it in the very beginning, when the EIA draft was released, it was through Paryavaran Network. I am a member of it, and they had mailed everyone to go check it. When I went through it, I'm as an MTech and as an environmental engineer was trained, like I know the subject, I know how to do the assessment, but the draft, the rules, all those rules, I wasn't just well aware of it that much. So when I went through it, I didn't see much of a difference, but maybe there was an expert who knew and they pointed out everything, and I wanted to do something about it, right? And I couldn't, like, the most I could do was tell people personally or post it in my social media or my WhatsApp, but I don't have many followers. And then one of my friends hooked me up, and then I started working on it. And there was some amazing people I met there who were just volunteering. And FFF, I can tell you, is not an NGO. And your question on why I am not with any specific NGO, it's like, well, I wanted to join one NGO after I did my master's, but right before I finished my master's, I got into this PhD program. I got selected for this PhD program in IIT Roorkee, and I thought that it is better to join it, right? And then after that, I was so inclined towards my research. I don't have time to take out for a particular NGO or anything. But meanwhile, whatever I can do, maybe aware people about whatever I come across. Like I try to tell people a lot about the palm oil situation and whatever the EIA draft was and the solid waste crisis in personal level. And I try to motivate people that I don't talk too much about it. I just try to let my own life speak for itself these days, like doing your best and, let others be interested why I'm doing it. And that is the reason. Maybe I will join NGOs later on, but I'm really inclined towards research because I think that research the research work I'm doing would reveal so much, and maybe I would, look for a better solution for the problems we are facing right now.
Very well said, that let the life tell what you are doing, and it's not necessary to always post on social media and make people aware. It's your deeds that count. So, ma'am, my next question is, what is mindful living and how has your journey been in that?
Well, let me first begin by telling you that I was not aware of this. Like, people would tell me about meditation, and I wouldn't buy it that much because I was in a school, Vivekanand Kendra Vidyalaya, Jeevan in Arunachal. So they teach us meditation. We used to sit, and I used to sleep every time. But what happened was, my supervisor, my mentor, under whom I'm doing my PhD, Dr. Gargi Singh, gave me a book named Learning True Love by Sister Chang Hong. And she said that it's an amazing book, go give it a read. And I read it, and she was talking about mindfulness and the way she was also a scientist, and like she is a scientist, like marine biologist, and then she used to have her own NGO and help people in Vietnam, and then she was practicing mindfulness. And she told me about her mentor, who is Thich Nhat Hanh. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I call him Tay because it's easier. So I got introduced to that book by this book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, where I read it and I was so amazed. And my supervisor caught me reading that book and she was like, don't read it unless you want to practice it. I said, oh, I intend to practice it with all my heart. I might take a long way to reach there, but I will try to practice it as much as possible. So what mindful living is in Buddhist term, it is just a meditation process where you're aware of your present moment without any judgment. And as Thais would say, his basic classic example is when you are doing the dishes, you just do the dishes. Let the thoughts come and go, but you just be present that you're doing the dishes and be there, enjoy your own company. And even if you're taking a walk, you just be aware that you're breathing, and then that the wind is blowing, that there are trees around you, and just enjoy the walk and just be in the moment. And it isn't a Buddhist term, but I think that regardless of the religion or any philosophy, I think everybody can do this in their life. It helps everyone in every level, With my PhD, I was it was so hectic. My life was so hectic, but since I've been practicing it, like I have come a long way. I'm not gonna say that I'm there yet. And I don't know if you ever are there yet. You keep learning in your life, right, till you die. But it's very interesting that it helped me a lot. And being mindful, aware of your own moment, it helped me be a very mindful consumer as well. And I am so mindful of my actions these days. Earlier I wasn't. I used to get angry a lot. And these days it just makes me aware of the situation, and I'm aware of whatever I'm consuming, if it's going to impact others or not. I'm aware of all the actions I make because I know that it is going to impact in one way or the other. So that is it. Mindful living.
That was really nice to hear, to be in the moment and just enjoy that moment. So, ma'am, coming towards the end, I would like you to share something specific with the audience that you think that it's close to you, or something that you want to say to the audience and make them aware about it.
Well, there are many things that I would want to talk about, but as we have short time and it cannot be put in a nutshell, right? But something that is very close to my heart is that you are so empowered as a consumer in this economy. What you demand gets produced, right? Whatever you want gets produced. And we keep demanding things, and that's why it's coming. So you cannot just blame the government for something. You cannot just blame one particular group or organization for anything. We are also responsible. Whenever you buy one product, with one purchase, you make a decision to support something or not support something. For example, if you are buying a soap and you are mindlessly buying that soap without knowing that there is palm oil there. And what if I tell you that the palm oil they used was from the palm oil they imported from Indonesia, and they had deforested Indonesia for that? There is entire deforestation. And then there is this cycle, this loop, right, where
Yes.
you do the deforestation, and then there is carbon gas emitted, and it contributes to global warming, climate change. Everything is connected. Every action is like the butterfly effect. One thing here, and then the other thing goes there. So everything is interconnected. So you have to be very mindful of your own actions you make. And I know whenever I tell people, they would be like, what difference would it make if I don't do this? But I would want to tell them that I had the same thought. Sometimes I used to get so frustrated, like, what difference would it make? I'm doing it, but not others. But then I realized that people came to me and they started asking me, and they asked me what I'm doing. They want to change it too. So I realized that once you do your part, it creates a ripple effect. Like you will inspire one person. I think that is good enough. You don't have to inspire the entire world. Just have to inspire one person, and that person will inspire the other person, and maybe that person will inspire 10 more people, right? So I would tell all the audiences that be mindful of your actions and whatever you consume, and just don't let the corporate sectors fool you for like greenwashing and all those things. And at the end, I would just like to say that doing your best, this is Tay's word, doing your best is the surest thing to remind others to do their best.
Very well said. Yeah, every action has an equal reaction is said from years, but we never actually understand that. And yes, doing our best is way more important.
Yeah.
Very well said, ma'am. Thank you so much for those insights. It was really great to hear you. And I don't know about the audience, at least you have inspired me to use certain products
Oh,
and
I hope so. Oh,
stop myself from using.
thank you so much for having me. I was looking
Thank you.
forward to this talk so much.
Thank you so much for interacting with us. It was really nice to have you.
Okay, bye.